Oh, so would you guys like to hear a story about how the nurse didn't take out a stitch?
Can
Yeah.
we talk about it on the podcast?
I guess we could. Yeah, that is
All
it's
right.
kind of funny.
Okay. Oh, hey there, everyone. Welcome to You Hate to See It.
Kill myself.
My name's Adam,
I'm Jeff.
Nick.
and this week on this glorious, beautiful Martin Luther King Day,
Dude, what day does that actually happen on? So you know,
it's
Not our-
it's right now. It's happening. It's
Is
today.
it? Is it? Oh, fuck.
is it?
Christ.
I have a weird feeling that you're fucking lying to me. Oh my fucking god, we're
Oh.
batch recording in fucking
Oh.
November for MLK Day in
Ah.
January. Are you shitting me? This is gonna be a long month. So for fun fact for everyone, we're batch recording like 3 months worth of shit
In like a week and a half.
Yeah, all in November. Why? I don't know.
Adam told us, and that's kind of how it went. That's
So yeah,
literally
happy MLK Day
Yeah.
on
And this-
January 17th, 2022.
Adam fucking posted the
from
schedule, and
November-
Jeff and I both tied a noose.
From November 9th, 2021.
On this
I-
glorious MLK Day,
Hate it.
I am drinking. I'm going to start off with a truly original lemonade, and then I need to,
How do you
go
have
on
so
to a
many of
truly
those?
mango lemonade.
I feel like I drank 3 or 4 of those at Mandy's, and then I feel like I also had them at a different time when I was around you.
Yeah, I brought them to Mandy's because Morgan's friends left them, and then I thought that they were so good because the first time I've ever had them was also at Mandy's, and I was like, wow, these are really good. So I bought some for my tournament this past weekend.
Mm. There it is. I'm drinking vodka and Propel because I'm dieting.
How is
I
it?
also hate myself. I was
Nice
dieting.
diet.
Or how is this
Is
drink?
is it good?
My diet's
Yeah,
over
it's
here
alright.
of vodka and Propel.
Is it-
You explain to me something that's like no carbs that I can mix with alcohol. That is empty calories.
does it
I
taste
mean,
good?
Truly's
No.
only 3
Okay.
carbs.
All right, that's really what I was getting at.
That's true. I could drink seltzers again. I also haven't gone to the store. I've spent the past 3 days straight doing nothing but researching.
The podcasts
that
that are
came out
coming out
2
before
months
this
ago.
episode.
That came
I
out
was-
2 months ago.
This episode comes out in January, and we still have episodes to record for November and December.
This is the way we could make it work. Okay, go fuck yourselves.
Is it? We could have also just recorded in December. No, fuck
Could you-
no.
Do you imagine the pain in the ass it would be to try and record around the fucking holidays?
I don't do
No.
anything for the holidays.
Yeah, I don't
yet.
either anymore. Yeah.
Okay,
I work every day.
Jeff goes
I
to a fucking
do.
cabin.
My dad takes time off, but I still have to do shit with everyone else. It's a pain in the ass. And you're telling me you don't want time off? Is this
Just
what
so
you're
we
saying?
Not the month
just so
and a half.
we can just so we can do what we always do, which is get to the point that we recorded
Oh
till
shit, we
and
got
then
an episode coming out.
and then fuck ourselves in the long
Mhm.
run somehow.
That's why we're recording so much.
I love it.
Is Nick? What are you drinking? Are you gonna fucking?
No.
I got me some Thomas Jefferson small black blend of straight
Small
bourbon
blatch.
whiskeys. Shut
Small
up.
blatch.
Well,
Shut up.
use your fucking words correctly.
I just got done playing the first game of Rainbow Six Siege in 2 years, okay, and it went fantastic.
Small
We
small
haven't-
blatch. Is that the new Star Wars TV show?
Yeah, it's this book I got right here. It's a good show. Fuck up.
We haven't even
Um,
made it through the intro, and you can't even fucking speak correctly.
No, I refuse to. I also have this wild sour series. Here goes. I don't know what this is. I'm not drinking it.
I'm
one of these
really-
disgusting.
I'm really starting to think that
I also have an empty cup of water.
I'm really starting to think that the reason you suck so bad at texting, like in spelling and texting, is because you actually think those words are spelled that way from the way you pronounce them.
Small black.
It might be that. That might be your problem. Get hooked on phonics, Nick. Come on.
It's wild. Like my fucking Shannon is literally a speech pathologist and fucking can't teach me how to speak.
Well, because you're a special breed of fucking dumb.
This isn't wrong. Oh my god.
So to start off with on this glorious Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I thought we could go through a few.
This does tie in with JFK.
This is kind of, yeah. What happened like a week apart?
Yeah.
We can go through a couple facts, some weird facts about Martin Luther King.
I don't like this.
How
I don't
likely
like
are they that they are actually facts and that they are 100% fact checked?
Yeah.
I'm
Is one of
going
them from FBI.com?
No,
Yeah,
it's
are we
from-
about to?
I'm on history.com.
That's not very likely.
It's
They
not
think
bad.
aliens built the fucking pyramids. So
Yep.
Um,
As long as it's not from FBI.com and it's the third link when you type in MLK, we're good.
did you know that Martin Luther King Jr.'s first original name was Michael King? But his father traveled and fell in love with Martin Luther on his travels and legally changed his name and his 5-year-old son's name to Martin Luther King Jr. and Sr.
I feel like I need to fact check you on this.
Okay.
I feel like nothing makes sense. Was Martin Luther King's original
I'm gonna-
name Michael?
I can't think of a
And
good
it's
joke.
spell AEL.
I got you. I'm
Well,
gonna.
that's how you spell Michael.
You're wrong.
And yes, you were apparently right, which is weird. No, I did not know that.
Did
gonna-
you know that he went to college at the age of 15?
Yeah.
That I did know, yeah.
I'm gonna travel and fall in love with Napoleon and change my name to Napoleon D. Bonaparte.
Okay. But you have to do it and you have to
Mhm.
wait until you've had a son.
Name
and
him
let-
George and then change his name to Napoleon.
The second, yeah.
I'll travel and fall in love with Rasputin.
I'm not naming my kid George. Also, I don't know why that's the name that came to my head.
Did you know that he was imprisoned nearly 30 times?
Yeah.
Yes. That is the civil rights movement. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome to Jim Crow South.
Yep.
Did you know that he narrowly escaped an assassination attempt decades before his death?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. We're just gonna scroll a little bit. 'Cause
Were
some of
you
these
like-
aren't as fun and exciting?
Were you like, oh shit, look at all these cool facts I didn't know about MLK. No one knows these, and then forget that Nick and I know history.
To be fair,
And
I
we-
don't know a lot about MLK.
I'm
I
gonna-
don't either, but
I'm
I
gonna
knew
let
these
you know
things.
right now. I'm reading these for the first time, so I don't know what facts are coming up.
I feel like we're not doing MLK any justice on this day.
Oh, 100%.
Nick, what are you doing to that
Did you
bottle?
know
Trying to get the wrapper off it.
Did you know his mother was
There we go.
also slain by a bullet?
I don't think bullets do the slaying.
It
I
says
hate to be
King's
one of
mother
those-
was also slain by a bullet. I'm reading the fact.
I'm pretty sure slain implies motive, and I hate to be that guy, but bullets don't have motives.
Weird.
That's wild.
I got nothing on that.
This
That's
is-
just poor wording, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Thanks, history.com.
Saying
Anyway,
the word shot
is
was
this
unacceptable.
channel.com? Like this is
Yeah, this is the history
okay.
channel.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting. Did you know that MLK went through the Rose Garden with JFK at the White House to discuss the civil rights bill?
I've only
Learn
been
more about
focusing
that
on
if you go back in the archives to to November, right before Thanksgiving. You can listen to all about that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that
I don't know if
episode we
that'll
totally
actually-
recorded.
We'll see. Who knows? Who knows what's in it? But you can find out by going back and listening if you haven't already.
It's wild.
I contemplated
wait till-
whether to
I
mention
love how it's
how
not even-
well, like, because we have episodes coming out earlier than this. Obviously, we still have to record the JFK.
Well,
But-
that's the thing is like we're now talking about we're recording for January. We haven't even recorded the JFK series that we've been planning
For
that we're
November.
recording on Sunday. I hate it.
I'm in physical pain.
There's also other episodes that are coming out before this one that we've yet to record.
Oh, I don't like that anymore. But all right.
All right, that's enough about Martin Luther King.
Next year we'll do an entire month on Martin Luther King.
Yeah, we'll see. So maybe we've mentioned it, or maybe we haven't. I left my job. Thank God. Fuck that company, and these two idiots are still stuck with them.
Kinda.
Nick, more so than
I
Jeff.
am 100% still stuck there. Maybe when this
Well, you
episode
still-
comes out, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like I still got an application in the pipeline, but I don't have hopes for it.
It's weird doing life updates 2 months in advance. I don't know how to do this.
This is wild.
Hey, shit happens.
Yes, it sure as fuck does. I have fully recovered from my surgery and have lost 20 pounds. That's my goal.
What a wild time capsule you're planting here.
But anyway, so yeah, I left my job at security. I work back for my father because it's easier for me to take time off with my dad than it is with the company I used to work for, and I need to take time off between coaching and working in film.
I don't.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. It's all good
That's disgusting. Maybe you should slow down on your mango lemonade truly.
I hate it
I too hate
so
it here.
much. Well, so this morning, and by this morning I mean 2 months ago, I woke up and had the stair strips fall off my foot from my surgery. So last Tuesday I had my stitches pulled from my toe surgery.
Disclaimer, this might get yucky.
It will. So I've never had stitches pulled before. And my concern was that the feeling of stitches being pulled was going to be the feeling of thread being pulled through healed skin.
No,
That's
keep
what
going. Let's go.
That's what I thought the feeling was going to be like. You'd be able to feel the thread just kind of going through the skin.
Why do I feel like Jeff has an
can you-
erection right now?
Can you give a more detailed way of what you thought it was?
All
gonna
right,
look
all
like?
right. So
Like, did you think maybe there'd be a knot on the inside that they have to yank through the
No, no,
healed
no.
skin?
no? So
Could you feel the individual threads pulling across your skin?
So what I thought was going to happen was that there's the knot on top. They were going to cut at the knot, and then they were going to pull the thread through the.
Uh-huh.
And it was going to be like a solid maybe quarter second of feeling thread being pulled through the skin.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought it was going to be like. It was nothing like that. It was just pulling. It was like ripping a staple out of a board of wood. I was not prepared for that. So I had, hold on, I could literally check. I can't check because I have a band-aid on it. I had like 6 or 7 stitches, which is, I should
Can you
know this.
imagine those people who have like 200 from an injury? Would you just go numb after a couple? I'm assuming.
I would want some form of anesthetic. Fuck that. But I had the stitches pulled, and then they put stair strips. The nurse put stair strips on my toe, which is like the glue and the little. It's basically just because once you pull the stitches out, there's still a little bit of a wound there because there's a hole where the thread was. So
this checks out.
yeah, so they put that over to make sure that doesn't get infected and make sure it doesn't just rip open. The stair strips fell off this morning at 5 a.m. and I grab a flashlight because I can't really see it, so I grab a flashlight, shine the light on my foot, and I'm like, huh, okay, that looks good. Huh, that looks a lot like a stitch. So look closer, I poke it. That's a stitch still in my foot.
It's not where you can like grab it with tweezers and pull it out yourself.
I don't know if Nick's capable of causing himself that type of feelings.
I'm not. I could not even fathom that.
I think I could. I would probably vomit afterwards.
I
would do it, but I wouldn't like it.
So I like poke it and I feel it's a suture and I'm like, huh. I'm sitting there and I'm like, did the doctor see that? And I'm like, no, because the doctor came in after the stair strips were on. And I'm like, huh. Poke it again. It's just a random stitch still in my foot after they pulled the stitches. And like, it's not like she just got lazy at the end. She did like 5. She pulled 5, skipped this one, and did 1 more.
So it like you could theoretically pull it out yourself. Is it like, or is it like under the skin completely?
It's there. It's in.
Is it? Wait, it is still there? Did you go back yet?
No, I go back next Tuesday.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I called them and was like, hey, is that like
Did
I
you,
wanted
to take
to
a picture and email it to them?
No, I wanted to yell at them and be like, how the fuck do you miss a stitch? But at the same time, I'm like, did they miss it? Is it supposed to be in there still? Why would they just leave a single stitch?
Also, Nick goes and
is
yells at some
being...
doctor who has a lot of power when he has to go back, and the doctor could just not take it out and be like, fuck you, Nick. So,
Nick is literally held together by a thread.
Yeah. It's just like
they're like, this one will keep everything intact.
So like I call them and I'm like, hey, there's a stitch in my foot. And they're like, no, that's normal. You're supposed to see the scar still. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. There's still a full suture in my foot. And they're like, and you had your stitches out? And I'm like, that's what I was there for last week. I had
that's
my
why I'm
stitches
calling you and I told you that I have one left in my foot.
I was told that they'd be pulled last week. Why was I not like I'm concerned as to whether or not there was supposed to be one. Was I supposed to be told? I'm confused. I'm really just lost here. I want to yell, but at the same time, I don't know if I should, because if this is supposed to happen. So they're like, all right, we'll call your doctor. We'll call you back. And I'm like, okay. I figured, you know what, like they'll have me come in like either today or like tomorrow. They'll just come, I'll go in for 5 minutes, they'll just go boop, and then I'll leave. Like they won't even sign me in, it'll just be a boop, and then I leave.
They'll do it at your car.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm on my way home from work. I'm almost home and I get a phone call from them. I'm like, oh God, I have to go back all the way to fucking Aurora today. She had this thing pulled. This is gonna be like the one time they can fit me in, and it's gonna be a bitch and a half. Like I kind of want this out. And I answer the phone and they're like, all right, so did someone call you already? And I'm like, all right, already not a good sign that you can't tell if someone's called me yet. And they're like, all right, so it is a stitch. And I'm like, I cannot be clear enough. This is a this is one single suture still in my foot. I don't know how much more clear we can get. This isn't, oh, he's stupid. This is a suture in my foot. Because I'm dumb. Like, we'll explain why I'm stupid, and we will get there. I am pretty stupid.
That reminds me of when I dislocated my shoulder and what the doctors told me and their giant big brain ideas.
What was that?
Win or what? No, finish yours.
Yeah, Nick finished, and I got a suture story too. So
they're like, all right. put a Band-Aid on it. We'll see you next Tuesday. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you still have a Band-Aid on it. And I'm like, I did that this morning. All right, perfect. You've done what we do. And I'm like, I feel like you would pull the stitch.
No, we would charge you $700 to put that Band-Aid on.
I'm like, oh, hold on. And like, I was excited. I was going to be like, I can just put a sock on my foot like normal. And I can just go back to being kind of normal. And then I saw a stitch and I'm like, if I put a sock on, that's just going to rip. So now I just have a Band-Aid on my foot for the next week.
Well, hopefully on January 17th, 2022, that shit's out.
Hopefully that this is not.
By the way, you can name this episode Back to the Future.
That is a great idea. I like that.
I like it.
This is, so I randomly have a stitch in my foot. I was wondering why my foot hurt a lot over the past week. Like, this is like, I was expecting pain, but like there was a little bit more than I was expecting. And I'm like, why is my foot just hurt? And then lo and behold, there's still a fucking suture in my toe. So yeah, that's neat.
Would you like to hear how you're the fuck up?
How am I the fuck up? Are they supposed to leave one more in there?
No, you're the dumbass that tried to deposit fake $200.
Oh yeah, no, I am really stupid.
Why are we segueing into that already? I thought we
No, it's a teaser.
It's a teaser.
We're
okay.
teasing.
We're teasing the
I
story.
don't want people to think that Nick was someone did something stupid and Nick did nothing dumb, because Nick did fuck up later that week.
Like 4 days later.
So
4 days later, I may or may not have committed a federal crime.
Well, rolling it back slightly here, I guess, to the sutures. To segue.
This episode's just something.
I heard you said you might possibly not have to edit this, so here you are having to edit this.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna make Nick edit it.
Hold on, no, pause.
So I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast before, of the time I got hit in the head with a hockey puck, and the uncomfortableness of getting the stitches removed, and how unprofessional it was.
I don't think there's a professional way to remove stitches. I'll be honest with you. I don't think there is a professional way to do it.
Slipping a finger in the bum.
Wait till I tell you how I got mine pulled out, and then you tell me that.
Please tell me they tied it to like a Zamboni.
No,
and they just.
So when I still played hockey, I got hit in the head with a puck. Long story short, that's about it.
I mean, you were a goalie and you were a kid who played hockey, so
but I wasn't wearing a helmet at the time, and the puck hit me directly on the head. I'm a hockey player. We have EMTs at the games, so we have no reason to ever see a doctor. I had hair down to my shoulders at the time, and they had me pull, like those toilet seat covers that have the hole in the middle. They had pulled one of those for me to hold on to keep my hair out of the way for them to stitch the top of my head. I had also lost a lot of memory through and about this. And they stitched me up, and they gave me Neosporin and were like, keep putting this on. Get the stitches removed in about a week. Don't take a shower. Now I'm a greasy man. I in 24 hours.
You can't say greasy man and me not immediately think of you in your apartment in your underwear screeching at people.
With just a bottle of olive oil?
No, just imagine. So already you just think of Adam in that way, and then he says, I'm a greasy man, and then try to picture that whole scenario if Adam was glistening with body oil.
I like to picture him holding like a quarter melted stick of butter, just rubbing it on his chest while screeching.
Deodorant.
Train a monkey to use a bottle of canola oil. That's from Talladega Nights. It's fine. Or Step Brothers. It's Will Ferrell, something. Anyway, uh so I my just the fact that I wasn't allowed to shower for 4 days was very bad just because my hair would get super greasy and it was shoulder
Oh.
length. So they stitched me up. Excitement, loss of memory, that's fun times. But later that night, like the scar was itchy. So you know how you like,
Oh God, I hate
Well,
where this is going already.
well, you know how you don't like when you have stitches, you can't like scratch it. So you like soothe the surrounding area, like
Yeah.
you rub the area around it. So I was doing that and my finger hooked on something.
Oh no.
And I was like,
I hate this.
what is this? My hair was so long that they had accidentally like looped my hair back into my head and
Oh.
stitched
Oh.
it shut. And my finger hooked onto like the loop of hair. And when I realized it was like my hair, I was like, well, I can just pull it out. Like it's so I go and I start.
So
to
is
pull
this what I
slowly.
thought being stitches was gonna be like in the book?
So
What I thought was gonna happen happened to Adam.
Yes, it legitimately, you know, that like that roller coaster or like when you go down a steep hill in your car, that like gut feeling like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the pit of your stomach. I got that on top of feeling in the best description I can, feeling a thing like run
Oh,
on
through
my
your
scalp.
skin. Yeah.
Like, and I
Yeah.
could feel it.
Okay.
I could feel it under my skin and on my scalp at the same time, like because it was just perfectly in between them,
Oh,
like
why?
on the skull muscle area and the skin. Felt it drag out of my head. That was exciting. That feeling of like the whole time it was happening, I like was sitting there, I'm like, I will commit suicide. Like I want to die now. And then as soon as it was over. And I was like, whew, like that was the most intense
Going to bed.
18 seconds. Well, and then I had to be woken up every fucking hour to make sure I didn't die
from a concussion.
from the concussions. And then
I wish someone would have done that for me.
and then like when I was finally allowed to shower, I was still in high school at the time too, so I had to get special permission from my school to let me wear a hat because my hair was so greasy and it was stained red from my blood, and I wasn't allowed to shower at all still. And finally when I was allowed to shower again, they were like, oh yeah, you're not allowed to have your head the normal direction, but you're also not allowed to have your head downward because like the water will get into your head or the blood will rush out of your head. So so it was like 10 seconds up and then immediately going down, but couldn't do it too fast or else I'd give myself another concussion. So it was just back and forth trying to shower between my head being upright and straight down. And it was a pain in the ass. I couldn't get all the blood out because I couldn't like put soap or shampoo on the stitches.
We're gonna have to put a disclaimer in the description of this episode.
Yeah, Jeff's experiencing the trigger right now.
And then when I finally got to take the stitches out, still have yet to gone to a doctor about any of this. I went to our team's trainer and I was like, hey, like today's the day I'm supposed to take the stitches out of my head. Should I just go to the walk-in clinic down the street from the rink, or can you do it? And she was like, oh, I'll do it. And then she looked and through her like medical bag and she was like, oh, like I don't have like my suture scissors.
How is this fucking story not ended? How did you have this many problems with one set of stitches?
So she went and borrowed a pocket knife from one of my teammates.
Jesus. Hey, which one are you?
She ran the scissors part of the pocket knife under hot water from the bathroom, and then she cut my stitches out of my head.
That's not
using a
sterile.
pocket knife.
You're telling me
Fired
ice
it.
hockey rink bathroom hot water isn't sterile, Nick?
Yeah,
No,
Nick.
Right next to the piss troughs.
You didn't have a lighter in the entire rink.
We
No,
weren't
it's supposed to
allowed
be
to
cold.
smoke.
You can't melt the fucking
Yeah, and
ice.
we didn't smoke. We only smoked after the season ended. We weren't allowed to smoke during the season. But
That's
after
for chewing. That's for during the season's chewing.
during the season, you chew your tobacco. Starting with the end of the season party, you can smoke it again.
Everyone just fucking breaks out like 6 packs of fucking Marlboro Reds.
There were teammates that did that. They like were heavy chewers, and then literally at the end of the season party,
They
which
just
happens
smoked like
the
2
day
packs.
after our last game, he came to the party with packs of cigarettes, and he chain smoked like 3 packs in a night.
God. Even when I was smoking, like heavily for me, I think I chain smoked one time, got to the third one and was like, I'm gonna throw up.
Thankfully I've never smoked. I've done chewing tobacco, but I've never smoked. So
Oh
yeah.
God.
Jeff, do you want to talk about your story that Nick reminded you of now?
Oh yeah. So when I was my senior year of high school, I worked at a place called Snowstar. It's a like winter sports thing. You can it's in the fucking middle of not middle, but it's on the western side of Illinois. You're fucking skiing or snowboarding down a fucking just normal fucking hill. That's a little bit longer than most. But I worked on the tube hill, which is they man-made a pond and took all the dirt that they dug out of the pond and made it into a giant hill. And then over the winter, they put a shit ton of snow on it and they make a tube hill out of it. So I was working at the top of the tube hill and this kid came up. There was a conveyor belt that brought you up, and this kid came and I had my back turned because was watching someone, like a kid who just went down, and he decided, hey, fuck that line of like 30 people, and he just sprinted past, jumped. So there's like individual lanes, and each lane is separated by like a little like divot, like a little like it rises up and then it dips back down, and where it rises up is where like the workers would stand in between the lanes. And he ran, jumped. It was one of those perfect nights where after a couple times people had gone down, it became a nice sheet of ice, so you would just fucking fly. This dude ran, jumped, slid, hit the ice, went, but he came in at an angle, hit the divot. As I'm turning around, wipes my legs out from under me. I fall 4 feet straight with my arm up above my head on my shoulder, and it just right out. And I'm literally sliding on my back down the hill because I can't stop myself because my arm's dislocated and I can't get up, and it's so icy that I'm just sliding down this hill to the bottom, and then I get up and my arm's just dangling next to me. My supervisor comes up, he's like, hey, you okay? I'm like, no. He's like, you need ski patrol? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. He's like, hey, he's like, can you move it? And I was like, no, I literally don't even know where it's at right now. So the ski patrol comes, they get me, and they take me to the ski patrol building. I'm sitting on, I guess they're not doctors, but they're EMS, like trained ski patrol, but they're also like medical professionals, as in like EMS and paramedics. I'm sitting on the, like, it's basically a trainer's table. Anyone who's done a sport, you know what a fucking trainer's table is. I'm sitting there. They get my coat and my sweatshirt off of me. They just cut my sweatshirt off. So I'm sitting there in a t-shirt, and they cut off one arm of my t-shirt for some fucking reason to look at my shoulder. I guess rolling it up wasn't a fucking thing we could do. So I'm sitting there with my back against the wall, and I have both arms down to my side. And there are 4 of them standing at the end of the table looking at me. And my dad and my mom walk in to come get me to like take me to the ER. Or like just to pick me up and see what the fuck's going on. And these doctors are standing there, not doctors, sorry. The ski patrol people are standing there, And they just stare at me for like 10 seconds while my parents are standing there, and they're like, one guy just leans to the other one. He's like, one of his arms is dangling lower than the other. And my dad's like, yeah, no, we're going to the fucking hospital. We just get in his car and he takes me. But this story also leads into the night that Jeff got high on Vicodin.
Honestly, you're lucky the ski patrol didn't just take your pants off too.
Yeah, right.
It's my shoulder. No, it's fine. As they're unbuckling, as they're undoing your belt.
He's like, why is his shoulder dangling the same distance as his penis? Why is this something you know?
So when I get to the ER, it's like 10 at night, and so there's only like 2 doctors there, and they're dealing with some lady who's having a stroke. So I'm just sitting in the emergency room, and one of them comes up and he's like, hey, sorry, we have something a little bit more urgent than you, so we're gonna go deal with that. I was like, okay. They're like, a nurse will be by to bring you something. I'm like, okay. And my mom's sitting there, and I'm just sitting there, and a nurse comes in. She's like, okay, you're the one. And she looks at me. She's like, okay, yeah, you're the one with the injured shoulder. And she hands me a cup with 3 pills in it. And she's like, all right, just take those. Here's a cup of water. So I take them. I take the cup of water. And for anyone who knows about the 3 pills that you're supposed to get, it's supposed to be 1 Vicodin to 2 Tylenol. I got 2 Vicodin to a Tylenol.
Oh boy.
I am a senior in high school. I'm probably about 190, 195 pounds at that time. And I just took 2 full-blown fucking Vicodin. And it was probably about an hour and a half before the doctor got in there. So by the time the doctor comes in, I am laying on my side on the table, staring at the wall, like kind of like moving my finger and pointing at stuff. And the doctor's like, I thought he was in here for a shoulder injury. My mom's like, yeah, he is. He's like, what's going on? She's like, I don't know, but he mentioned something about a dragon at some point. And he's like, he's looking at the chart, and he's like, oh, so we had one of the newer nurses come. They gave him the wrong dosage of Vicodin and Tylenol. He's like, well, this should be really easy. Puts the board down, sits me up, and he's like looking at me. He's like, hey, you might feel something. And it just, as he's talking, just pops my shoulder back in. And he's like, I'm just sitting there. And he's like, all right, here's a sling. You can leave. Just make sure he wears that. My mom's like, how long is this going to last? He's like, I don't know, but you might want to drive slow, because that might really start throwing him through some loops.
So I take it 2 Vicodins, the number for you not to feel your bone being rearranged.
Yeah, having your sockets realigned.
So the number is 2.
Like in my head, I'm just picturing Jeff, like he's looking at like the school building, like shitty painted, like cinder block walls with all the like cracks and divots in them, and he's just like, wow, pretty.
I think I at one point said this pattern looks like a dragon. And my mom's like, I have no idea what you're doing. I was probably like staring at it. It was probably one of those tile ceilings with all like the black dots, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was probably looking at that and was like, look, good dragon. My mom's like, nope, that's just a ceiling tile.
Now, I
think it's more wild because, like, you know, if you were like 8, this would make sense. But you're like 18. Like you're too old.
I'm 17, yeah, just before. Yeah.
Oh my god. And here I am. I was prescribed hydrocodone for my surgery. Never took. I just took Advil.
Nice.
I fuck that. I've never experienced apparently the joys of Viking.
Yeah, man, when you just stop feeling your body, damn, do you go to a new place?
So let's go on a beautiful transition here that was set up by Jeff about 10-15 minutes ago.
It was half an hour, man.
Nick, Big Dumb.
All right, so
Here's the thing. It was actually a really good transition, Jeff.
Yeah.
But the problem was we had
was
things
early.
that had better, like that had easier
I know.
transitions back then. All
Don't
right.
tell. You don't have to tell me where I made it hard.
So
In my
way
pants?
way back in like November 7th, November 6th.
I don't know what Jeff's look was, but it was like he was surprised of what he was drinking, but then was okay with it.
No, so I realized this twists on, but there's no twisty parts out here, and I was like, how the fuck does that work? And then I realized they're on the inside of the bottle.
Yeah, okay.
Like engineering discovery over here by Jeff.
Like the look on his face was just pure confusion, and it was like, oh, okay.
I also kind of forgot that I put Propel in this, so Propel
Okay.
without the alcohol in it was kind of weird.
It's wild. All right. So if I'm in jail currently, when this episode comes out, this is why. Or if there's several active warrants from the United States federal government, this is why. Maybe. I don't know. So it was Friday.
Yep.
The weather was beautiful. It was a good day. Work went by pretty quickly. I mean, there was enough going on where it didn't go by like a turtle, but it was a good day. My second shift
set up this much just to
my second shift. No, it
does.
does. I do, because this kind of gives me an understanding of why I am an idiot. My second shift comes in, and I put on my jacket and I feel my breast pocket. I'm like, oh, what's in there? I reach in, I'm talking to him, and I pull out, and we both look at what I pull out. It's two crisp $100 bills. And he looks at me and just goes, what, do you have a golden spoon shoved up your ass too? Like, he's pissed. He's like actually pissed. Like, how do you just forget about $200? He's like, here, reach into mine too. And apparently I had a horseshoe shoved up my ass. So I found $200 just randomly in my pocket. I'm excited. I can't wait to go do something with $200. Rest of the day goes by. Saturday comes around. I have a bunch of errands to run, so I go to the bank. And before I stop at the bank, I stop at Burger King. I'm a little hungry, and I pick up food. And I'm like, I pull out one of the $100 bills, and I'm like, this feels weird. I look at it. It's 2020 series. Yeah, they must have changed it. They must have really redesigned the 100.
And like that 2020 update of the
Yeah.
$100 bill that they announced to fucking no one.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's weird. All right. And I have the brief thought, wonder if these are fake. Then I put it back in my wallet, pull out my debit card, pay for my food. I then go to the bank. I ask for a deposit slip. I fill it out, put it in. I send it through the tubes, and
This is even better. I didn't even know you were in the drive-through when you did this.
and
Nick doesn't go into places anymore.
I don't go into places. And here they go. So, Nicholas, I regret to inform you that the bills that you just gave me are counterfeit. And I'm like, oh. And she's like, yeah, they're fake. And I'm like, oh. They say motion picture on them. Oh, God. For motion picture use only. I don't know where that was on the bills. I apparently didn't. I looked for like
Yeah, you didn't look hard enough. Like, no. Let me tell you, they like motion picture, like they make it pretty like obvious if you actually pay attention to the fake money that they use that it's fake.
I had 200. Why would I pay attention? I was excited. I had $200. So I'm like, oh, they're like, did someone try and pay you with these? Did they scam you? Going like, oh, he's stupid.
I just phoned him in my pocket.
I'm like, no, I found them in my pocket and I got excited, so I just kind of.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it looked something like this.
Most likely. Do you notice how
I can't read this one close enough to see if it's a 20. Where the fuck did you see it's a 2020 series, but you didn't see the motion?
I did not see the
Yes.
motion picture use only.
do you
I did-
see
I
his?
don't-
Do you see how his mouth is off too? Like he has a weird mouth.
Okay, we need to post. Fucking somehow we need to remind you
go
to
down-
post a picture
Go
of
down
this.
into the one that your mouse was just over.
The one that I just
Yeah,
clicked on.
It's a little laggy for me. Yeah, look how weird his face is.
Yeah, there's a lot of things
look,
wrong with this.
Look, I didn't look at it that closely. It's mea
Was the-
culpa.
Was the blue strip even plastic for you?
Yeah, was there a blue strip on the damn thing?
There was a blue
Okay.
strip. I looked. I don't carry
Was it-
$100 bills.
Was it plastic or was it paper?
I figured they changed.
The blue strip was specifically always plastic for a reason.
It was the same consistency as the rest of it.
Okay, that should have been the first clue.
Nick, look at its eyes and nothing
I
about
didn't
this
look at it closely.
Nick, I don't think you understand how closely you have to look to see it say 2020 series. Especially compared to the fucking print that says for motion picture use only. They are two very distinct different sizes of font. All right, for everyone listening to this, because we'll forget to fucking post a picture of this, go look it up yourself or go into to a Word document, type 2020 series in size 6 font, and then type for motion picture use only in bubble, Comic Sans, whatever the fuck you want, but put it at like 22. That is the size difference that we were fucking talking about.
Closely. I
You
was
can't
excited.
keep using that excuse. You can't tell me you didn't look closely if you saw the tiny print that says 2020 series and then told yourself, oh, they must have changed it.
Or like you feel like just by feel, a blind person could have told you that this was a fake bill, Nick. A blind person, they will have felt
You
would be
told
like,
yourself in like
this is-
3
this is 100
subconscious ways.
You go
that
to
it
them
was
and be
fake.
like, "Hey, this is a $100 bill," and they'll be like, "Oh, where's the plastic strip?" And you go, "Well, it's there." No, it's not.
I really wanted $200.
Oh man.
It gets worse.
Of course.
So she's like, yeah, I could tell these were fake as soon as I touched them. And I'm like, oh God. She's like, I'm gonna need your ID. And I'm like, fuck. Can I give them my ID? And I'm like, yeah, because this is my bank. Like, this is where my accounts are held. I just gave them my routing number.
Well, yeah, and even if you didn't give them your ID, they have your ID on file still.
So they took my ID and like it took them like 20 minutes. I'm sitting there for like 20 minutes and I'm like,
Oh yeah, they
They
got some
want-
forms. Well, they got
they
forms they
want-
probably don't fill out often to fill out.
They probably asked the head teller, and the head teller was like, "I've never fucking had to do
I don't
this
know. Let's go
before."
into our fucking PDF files and find the fucking document for this to print out for him.
I was just like, they 100% have called the police. I'm just waiting for a cop to show up behind me, and I'm like, oh God. I'm like, oh. And then like finally they're asking me again, like, did someone pay you for this? Like pay you and this money? And I'm like, no, I explain it to them. I tell them the truth because
This
And
is
they're
the
like-
federal government.
yeah. And I'm like, all right, okay. And they give it or they give me my ID back, and they're like, they kind of explain to me like, you can come in here and see like the bills. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want to be here anymore. And she's like, all right, well, you have a good day. Sorry. Like she's apologizing to me. And I'm like, no, it's thanks. And she's sitting there like, oh my God. So yeah, I'm thankful I went to a bank and didn't like go into the city and try and pay with those, because I would have been shot.
Well, like it's more wild because we're in a group chat, and Nick just goes, Adam definitely gave me these. And I was like, first of all, when have I ever just had $200 on me to mistakenly give you anything? Like, granted, I do work in the film industry. Nick, when was the last film job I had?
Adam, I haven't worn this jacket in a year, so this is from
Okay.
about a year ago.
Okay,
so-
well, I was like, regardless, I haven't worked on a movie that has
Yeah.
fake money, so I really don't know where you got these from.
Mhm.
That's why I said Marvel Museum maybe, but then I was like, I feel like I would have seen that and we all would have got one or something. but-
Yeah. Well, from a year
I
ago.
don't know where that, like, and they're like, where did you get it? I'm like, I legitimately could not tell you where I got these. So yeah. I'm probably on a Secret Service watch list.
You didn't even ask if you could keep them.
No, they 100% were like, no, you're not getting these back.
Yeah, once you try to do something at a bank like that, yeah, you don't get that shit back.
Yeah. So
Bank doesn't take fake currency of any kind lightly.
yeah, and I come into work, or my second shift comes into work yesterday, and he's like, so what'd you do with what'd you burn $200 on? And I look at him and I go, they were fake. I didn't tell him the whole story. I just told him that they were fake.
What was his reaction?
He's like, bullshit. Like, he did not believe me. And I'm like, no, like 100% they were fake. I took them to the bank and
No,
they said they were
definitely, like,
counterfeit.
Believe me, this literally looked me up on the FBI most wanted list, and there I am for fake.
Nick would never be on the most wanted because Nick is not hard to find.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, bullshit. And like, no, they weren't. I didn't tell him the whole story. I just told him they were counterfeit.
Fucking stupid.
Well, on that note,
I want to crawl in a hole and die after reliving that.
Wait until January 17th, 2022 when this comes out and you remember it when someone brings it up.
Yeah, I can't wait for. Hey, Grace and Mandy, please message us about this, but give us zero context to any part of this story and just watch our confusion. Cool, thanks. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Just to let you know, down in the bottom is our link tree with all of our links. On Podbean, you can become a patron. And by becoming a patron, you get all this special content. At the $1 per month tier, you get added to our Discord, and you get access to both of our Taskmaster specials. Both of them.
Bofa.
Bofa. Bofa what, Jeff?
At the $5 tier, at the $5 tier, you get our unedited video versions of the podcasts. Same one that you're listening to right now, maybe longer, maybe exactly the same. Who knows? Definitely not Adam from November of 2021.
This would be a good episode to watch, unedited though. Just
It would be.
for watching us kind of like shivering from the stories of grossness, and
This
then
is a
us
good-
dumbfounded
this is a good
by
one.
Nick. Oh yeah, and then you can watch me pull out a photo of the fucking bill.
You can also watch Jeff be confused by the twist cap
A
on his
water
water bottle and then accept it immediately.
It's confuzzling. What can I say?
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Have a good day. Have a good Martin Luther King Jr. day. The day that this is happening.
Had a great new year.
Long story short, Nick condones war crimes, and as of this past weekend, Nick is on some government lists.
Oh, 100%.